Yo, what up, guys? Welcome. We got some big news for Pokemon Trading Card Game Pocket today. The new mini set is coming out on December 17th. It could be 16th, could be 18th. They didn't really give an exact time, so depending on time zones and when it actually drops, we'll know. Second ever video on the channel. My name is Bad News Bears. If you don't know me, we're doing some pack openings, we're doing news, we're doing tournaments, perhaps. Yeah. If you want to go check out my other channel, I play MOBAs, currently Predecessors, the primary one. Go down in the description, you'll find a link to that channel there. Let's dive into the trailer that we got today. So we get some, like, what looks like full art card arts, maybe. Maybe it's just promotional graphics, but I'm going to assume full art card arts. Well, A1A. Bunch of different cards flying around. Mew EX being the primary, like the featured card, if you want to call it that, which means we'll probably get an immersive Mew. We also see Aerodactyl EX. Could be an interesting Pokemon. We had a quick glimpse at a bunch of other cards. Don't worry, I'll have a breakdown of all the cards visible in just a moment. Yeah, there's all those cards again available Tuesday. So we have the description of the set. Experience wonder and whimsy with a new expansion worth of cards coming to the Pokemon Trading Card Game Pocket. Classic mythical Pokemon Mew and Celebi are powerful EX Pokemon ready to add extra magic to your collection. The Mythical Island expansion features over 80 cards, including 5 new exciting Pokemon EX cards, 5 new trainer cards, and gorgeous immersive cards ready to bring you into the wondrous world of Pokemon. So, my theory that we were only going to have one immersive card was wrong. I assumed we were going to... My initial prediction, I don't think I ever said it in a video. I actually might say it in a video that's coming out later. I said that my prediction is the theme is going to be Eevee. We're going to get an immersive Eevee. We're going to get an EX Vaporeon, Flareon, Jolteon, maybe some other things, or it was going to be like EX Eevee and we're going to get some random EXs. Something like that. I was wrong. We got Mew is the main Pokemon. We're getting 5 other EXs. So far we know Mew, Celebi, Aerodactyl, and coming up, you'll see we know another one. So there's one that we still don't know, and probably maybe won't know until Tuesday. Celebi could be interesting, maybe showing some love to grass, hopefully. We don't know anything about Celebi. We don't even know if it is grass type. We can probably assume, but yeah, hopefully it'll be good. So here's the cards we have. We're over at PokemonMeta.com for this. The cards that we have had revealed to us, which is Mew EX, Weakness, Darkness, plus 20. So it's 130 HP, not super bulky, but it is a basic EX Pokemon. For 1 Psychic Energy, you get Psyshock, that does 20 damage. Low end, but, you can do it turn 2. And then Genome Hacking for 3 Colorless Energy. Keep that in mind, that's a big thing. Choose one of your opponent's active Pokemon's attacks and use it as this attack. You don't need the energy the opponent's mon needs. So if there's a Charizard, you can have 3 water energies on your Mew, or 4 water energies on your Mew, and swing for 200 damage. You will still have to presumably discard 2 of those energies. Does Charizard state fire energy? Hold on a second. Wait a minute. You won't have to discard energy, will you? Or I'm actually not entirely sure how this will work. This could go one of 2 ways. It's either you discard nothing, or you need 2 fire energy to be able to use the attack. Just for clarity's sake, I wish I knew the answer, and if I do find out the answer, I'll leave it in the comments as a pinned message. As a pinned comment. I did not mean to get rid of that. So, just to clarify how Mew works to my knowledge, is if we look here at Aerodactyl, Aerodactyl requires a fighting energy and a colorless energy to swing for 80 with no effect. Mew will be able to do that attack regardless of the energy. Mew could have 3 water energy and would be able to do this. What is interesting is if we look at Charizard, Charizard does Crimson Storm. It is currently the strongest attack in the game as of now, and including everything we have seen from the mini set. But it does say discard 2 fire energy. What I'm not entirely sure is if the discarding 2 energy is a requirement for the attack to take place, because it is specifically fire energy. If it's not a requirement, Mew would be able to, with 3 energy of any type, if matched up against a Charizard, do 200 damage with no negative. Now, if the Mew is being played in a fire deck and has fire energy, you would end up discarding the fire energy. We're not entirely sure how that's going to work. I mean, maybe someone is, and again, it will be a pinned comment. But right now, I'm thinking that Mew just does it for free. So when I was saying, like, we need to keep in my mind that this is a triple colorless attack, you could, in theory, run Mew in any deck. You could run Mew in a water deck. You could run Mew in a grass deck. You could run Mew in an electric deck. Probably not, because you're probably running Pikachu, and Mew takes up bench space as a psychic type, which would hurt. You're probably running Pikachu, and Mew would take up bench space as a non-electric type, weakening the Pikachu. But it is something worth noting. Also worth noting, Mew does very bad against Pikachu. Pikachu only has 1 attack, or Pikachu EX only has 1 attack. It is that specific, do 30 damage per electric type Pokemon on your bench. Odds are you're not going to have electric type Pokemon on your bench when you're running Mew, because it doesn't synergize with Pikachu. And I don't know what other electric type deck you would be running. I do have a ping. It's not what I thought it was. Okay. Moving on to Aerodactyl, the other EX that we have full information on. Oh, the Mew is also 1 retreat cost, which is very nice. Aerodactyl EX, 140 HP for stage 1. It's okay. What? Primeval Law? Primeval Law? Sure. I guess it'd be Primeval Law. Your opponents cannot play any Pokemon from their hand to evolve their active Pokemon. This is a good ability, don't get me wrong. And to my knowledge, there was some was it Archeops that had an ability like this that was like banned for being too good? I mean, here's the thing, right? A lot of the time you are not setting up your active Pokemon. But what this does do, if your opponent bricks kind of hard and is having to set up in their active slot, you can stop that entirely. The Pikachu deck doesn't do a whole lot of evolving. Pikachu and Zapdos, both Pokemon that are basics, but this is super effective against Pikachu. You do kill in two hits. It does swing on Pikachu for 100. It's not enough to knock out, but it is worth noting. I think you could be seeing some Aerodactyl play. People might cook up some interesting fighting decks with the Aerodactyl. Speaking of interesting fighting decks and cooking up things and cooking Pikachus in specific, also 1 retreat cost. Weakness electric though, which is unfortunate. We do have Marshadow, which is a fighting type, 80 HP, basic 80 HP, is a pretty decently bulky basic Pokemon. Weakness is psychic plus 20. Has the move Revenge. It does 40 damage for 2 energy, a fighting and a colorless. If any of your Pokemon were knocked out by damage from an attack during your opponent's last turn, this attack does 60 more damage. If a Pikachu EX knocks out one of your Pokemon, Marshadow will kill Pikachu in 1 hit. Keep that in mind. It will hit for 100 plus Pikachu's weakness, hitting for 120, knocking out Pikachu EX. Very, very strong counter to Pikachu. The issue is if you're running this in like a tournament where you want to streak, it is still weak to Psychic. Though the positive of it being weak to Psychic is Mewtwo would knock it out in 2 turns anyway. So maybe it's not such a bad look. The only thing then when we're talking about specifically Mewtwo, it doesn't really hit any of Mewtwo's HP thresholds. So, you know, you can't kill... You would need a Giovanni to knock out a Mewtwo in 2 turns if the Mewtwo had previously knocked out something else, which if Mewtwo just knocked out something, odds are you're not going to have 2 turns. Anyway, interesting Pokemon. I was curious to see what people do with it. I didn't expect a Marshadow to show up. The other full art we have here, Vaporeon, 120 HP, weakness to electric, plus 20. Marshadow, again, 1 retreat cost, because I keep forgetting to say retreat costs. Vaporeon's an interesting one. We're going to pop up the card here, because it's a bit hard to read. As often as you'd like, during your turn, you may move a water energy from one of your bench Pokemon to your active water Pokemon. So we're thinking of things like, I mean, like, you can really do this with any water Pokemon, but, like, Gyarados is a big one that's kind of hard to set up and kind of a bit of a pain. I don't know how good this Vaporeon's going to be. Maybe that washout ability will be stronger than I'm foreseeing it being. It does do 60 damage with Wave Splash. It does cost 3 energy, 1 water, and 2 colorless, however. And it is 2 retreat cost, which isn't... We don't love that. At the moment, I think there's only one other... other than these 3, there is one other pretty interesting Pokemon at this point, I would say, which is the Dene. The Dene has already power crept out Pincurchin? Yeah, not Pikimiku, it's Pincurchin. Because Pincurchin is 2 energies for a 50% chance to paralyze. Yes, it does damage, but it's negligible damage. The Dene, on the other hand, is 1 energy for 10 damage and a 50% chance to paralyze. So anyone who is ever running Pincurchin is now switching to Dene. It sets you back 1 less turn than Pincurchin does as a Hail Mary, and that's wonderful. This is Jigglypuff with 10 damage. If you like Jigglypuff, you like Dedenne, because Dedenne is Jigglypuff that does 10 damage. Cool, we love that. Up next is a semi-interesting one. I don't foresee it getting very much play. Tauros, basic, Dedenne also 1 retreat cost. Tauros, 100 HP, weakness, 20 to fighting. 2 retreat cost, that's not, we don't love that. And 3 attack cost. It is colorless, but not great. 40, however, plus 80. Plus 80, so 120 damage if the Pokemon is an EX. Credit where credit's due. That's a kill on a Pikachu. With Giovanni, that's a kill on a Zapdos. That's a kill on an Arcanine. Right? I'm not crazy. Hold on. Let me make sure I'm not talking. No, it's not a kill on an Arcanine. Why was I thinking Arcanine was 130? I'm tripping. Anyway, you get what I'm saying. So it's worse than I was even initially thinking. It's a good Pikachu counter, I suppose. It does take 3 energy. You might be too slow. But it's interesting that we have gotten 2, I would say 2 EX counters. 2 Pikachu EX, just based off of HP thresholds exclusively. Then we have a 70 HP, 40 damage, 2 energy, Snivy, 1 retreat cost. I wish this was a 0 retreat cost. And then a weakness of 20 to fire. It does have 70 HP, which is not bad. What this does mean is we're getting a superior. A potentially really good grass type Pokemon. Dalmai's 100 HP. This is not a great one. The Lapras card is basically the exact same as this. Actually, I think it is the exact same as this, except water type. Dalmai's 100 HP, 2 retreat cost, weakness of fire plus 20. Energy Whip does 20 damage. If this Pokemon has at least 3 extra grass energy attached to it, this attack does 70 more damage. 90 damage for 4 energy? I mean, you're out of your mind. What I am thinking, though, is Lapras is water type. Water type has an energy engine within Misty to get this kind of energy on a Pokemon rapidly. Does this mean Grass is getting some sort of way to get energy rapidly? Perhaps. Morlul, I'd be curious to see what this turns into. 60 HP, 20 damage for 1 energy. The 20 damage for 1 energy is really nice. One retreat cost, which is nice. Weakness to fire plus 20. Execute. This is a weird one. 50 HP, which is bad. One retreat cost, which is pretty good. Growth Spurt. Take a grass energy from your energy zone and attach it to this Pokemon. It is for colorless energy. I'm assuming we're going to get a different Executor. One that presumably requires at least 2 energy. Here's the interesting thing. You might be thinking, well, that's stupid, because Executor, EX is only 1 energy to attack, so why would you need a second energy? First, you could use it for the retreat cost, which is a nice little bonus. But it does allow you to run Executor in a non-grass energy deck. The only caveat, and it makes it very awkward and very unlikely it will ever see play, is the fact that simply you have to use the Execute active for 1 turn, and you have to attack with it. So yes, you could set up Executor, but you have to attack with Execute. If you're not starting with Execute on turn 2 as your active Pokemon, it's just a waste of time. It's like that's simply all it is. And Executor is not good enough of a Pokemon to justify putting in this position. Larvesta, I'm very excited. If you know me, I'm a bug type enjoyer. So Volcarona could be very cool. 80 HP, 2 retreat cost, which is not good. 20 weakness to water, combustion, 30 damage, 1 fire energy, 1 colorless. Not a whole lot to say, just a whole lot of hope. And then an interesting one, another Magmar already. This one could be very interesting. 80 HP, it does have a 2 retreat cost, we hate that. Weakness of 20 to water, standard. Fire Blast does 80 damage, but you have to discard 2 fire energy. Now, what I do say is if we go to Blaine, this is up from 50 from the other Magmar, but you don't have to discard, obviously. It does 30 more damage. You're swinging on a basic Pokemon for 2 energy or 110. Does 110 do you a whole lot? Admittedly, no. It's actually kind of an unfortunate threshold. If this thing had 90 damage plus Blaine, that's like knocking out Pikachu. We have another thing that just perfect kills Pikachu. Could be good. It's a bit faster paced, but then you do have the fire energy destruction. Maybe Blaine will see play with it. Who knows? We do. Yeah, I don't know. It would be cool if we get. If this does mean we're getting. I can't think of his evolution's name. Magmortar. And then we're moving on to the trainers. So we know we're getting 5 trainers. We do only know info on 2 of them, which we have Blue. During your opponent's next turn, all of your Pokemon take 10 less damage from attacks from your opponent's Pokemon. The inverse of Giovanni, which is actually kind of cool because if you think about it, they're both the gym leaders of Viridian. I like that they used Blue for it. What's interesting about Blue, specifically against Misty, is this would stop Articuno's bench attack. You wouldn't take any damage from the Articuno on your bench, which is very interesting. And then here we have Leaf, which is during this turn, the retreat cost of your active Pokemon is 2 less. So it's better X speed at the cost of its using your supporter. I mean, maybe in an Onyx deck or something, maybe we'll get some sort of really good deck that's high retreat cost. Right now, it doesn't look like we're adding that because we have 2 1 retreat costs here. So yeah, those are all the cards, well, -1, which we'll talk about later, that we have all the info on. Actually, I can talk about it right now, I believe, yeah. So there is one other card. I have this very blurry picture of it from the trailer. We have a new Pikachu. Of course we do. Somebody, I don't know where I got this from exactly. It was it was posted on Discord. I don't know the source of it, but the Pikachu is 60 HP electric type, obviously. You know, 20 damage weakness on fighting, 1 retreat cost. This is Baby Pikachu EX. Instead of 30 damage per electric Pokemon on your bench, it is 10. So this Pokemon's max damage for 1 electric energy is 30. What are we working with Pikachus? here. 20 damage, 60 HP. Yeah, I mean, it's not much different. It could be worse, could be better. It just depends. I feel like for the most part, you're probably just gonna stick with Fat Pikachu. Uh, Now jumping into content. So we have new content coming, uh, which does confirm another one of the EXs we're getting. We have this. These are like the normal solo battles. I assume there'll be one for every difficulty. We have here. We have Mew and Mewtwo EX deck, Aerodactyl EX and Marowak EX, and then Blue and Pidgeot EX. So we know we're getting Pidgeot EX. Cool. Could be fun. Could be interesting. We do also see, I think there's another event there. I'm assuming that's Celebi? Maybe not, maybe so. And then we have an upcoming campaign. Players will receive 12-hour pack item glasses, pack hourglass items each on December 17th, 18th, and 19th. There'll also be a holiday countdown campaign beginning on December 24th, allowing players to receive some in-game gifts at no cost. So, for 3 days, you're getting 3 free packs, basically. The only other things that I wanted to talk about before we move on today is these images. So, these images are from the trailer. Here we see Liepard and Executor. Executor's already in the game, Liepard isn't. So this almost guarantees we're getting a Liepard card. Interesting. Cool. Sure, another Pokemon. Here we see some, I think those are Salandits, not Salazzles. But again, basically confirming that we are getting at least, well, that we are getting one of these cards. And then further confirming from arts, there is a Stonjourner and Behiems, so we're presumably also getting those included in the 80 plus cards. Outside of that, I couldn't tell you what else is coming, other than we know the Celebi as well. Yeah, so that's all the news. This is going to end up being a longer video than I initially intended or thought. Yeah, there should be at least one other video on screen right now. Please give that a watch, and if you're new here, like, comment, subscribe, please. And again, if you're into mobile content, go check out my what I would call my main channel down in the description below. That's all for me. Have a wonderful day. Bears out. Peace.